Yo, got a like already? Just started the live. That's what's up. Y'all come up in here, man. Y'all get up in here. We can talk about the new study that I have discovered, or that was, made, that I was made aware of. Very important information. Four likes, 0 viewers. Okay, I like that. Give y'all a minute to get in here, man. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, whatever time of day it is for you guys. Some not so surprising information has come out about the poke, especially regarding young boys between the ages of 12 and 17. I'm going to briefly go over it, because I'm driving. I don't have the information in front of me. I'm not at a computer where I can show you guys the study, but I promise I will post a link to this study in the description. All right. Now, what study am I talking about? I'm talking about a study that was done by multiple organizations, including Yale. It's a Yale study that shows basically the comparison between the number of hospitalizations for boys, in regards to, people, young boys who have gotten the poke versus those who had gotten actual modelo 19. Like, where do you get most of the hospitalizations? Do you get more hospitalizations after the poke, or do you get more hospitalizations from actual modelo 19? And when I say after the poke, I mean from the poke, like hospitalizations due directly to the poke. All right. And the difference is about 2 to 6-fold when you go from ages 12 to 17. Now, they did 2 sets of ages. They did 12 to 15, or 12 to 13, I believe, or 12 to 14, and 15 to 16. I don't really know the exact, but like I said, I'll post the study in the description. But there's a 2 to 6 time difference, right? Meaning that the hospitalizations due to whatever, like the one with the most hospitalizations is 2 to 6 times more likely, right, than those that have the less hospitalizations. And if you guys would guess, you're more likely to be hospitalized. Young boys from ages 12 to 17 are more likely to be hospitalized from the poke, of course, than from modelo 19 itself. So if you have kids ages 12 to 17 that have been poked, they're more likely to be hospitalized for that poke than if they would have caught modelo 19, especially these variants, which they are admitting, right, is mad weak, right? They're more infectious, but way less deadly. So that means your child is less likely, even now, to be hospitalized from modelo 19 than before. Why is it significant? Well, because kids 12 to 18 have already been approved to get the shot, right? They've been approved to get the shot. Even the full approval that they say that the CDC has given, or the FDA has given. Now, this is important because now they are mandating the poke for your children to go to school. Now, my solution to that is just get your kids out of school and homeschool your kids. However you got to do it. You got to make some sacrifices, get a smaller house, stop buying some shit. You know what I'm saying? Give a car back. Homeschool your kids. Homeschool your kids. That's one way. If you want to avoid this bullshit that the school system is doing, the tranny stuff, the forced pokes, your kids getting slapped by teachers, like teachers not giving a hot fuck. The best solution is to remove your children from the enemy school system. All right, from the enemy school system, from the public school system, from the indoctrination system, whatever you want to call it. Right. This is another avenue. These mandates are another avenue by which they attack your children. Now, despite being faced with the realization that your child is more likely to be hospitalized, your young boy actually, more specifically, more likely to be hospitalized for the shot than actual modelo 19, why are they still insisting on mandating the poke? Why are they still insisting that we force pokes on the people? Why are they still mandating this shit? Why are they still insisting that everybody, I think Joe Biden said the other day that 97 to 98% of people need to be hokey pokey to become GMO, to go back to normal? Why is that? Why is there such this big push? And that's including your children. And now Pfizer is trying to get approval for kids 5 to 11. Now, the interesting thing about this is, in those ages between 12 and 17, the younger you are in that age range, the more likely you are to become hospitalized with pericarditis and myocarditis. Okay? The more likely you are, the younger you are, the more likely you are to suffer from these ailments after getting the poke. So can you imagine like what a 5 to 11-year-old might experience after getting the poke? And they're trying to get approval for this shit so that why these school ages? Why the school ages? Right? Why not go all the way to newborn? Fuck it. You know, they already want pregnant women to get poked. You might as well. The ingredients in the poke passes the blood placenta barrier. It passes the blood-brain barrier. It passes the blood-oxygen barrier. It passes the blood-testes barrier. What's the difference? What's the point? Why not go all the way? Hell, why not go all the way all the way to newborn like they do with Hep C? You know, they try to push Hep C on your children as soon as they're born, or hepatitis B, whichever one of those vaccines they are. A primarily sexually transmitted disease. That's what they want your child to get vaccinated for as a newborn. But that's beside the point. So now they want 5 to 11-year-olds to get the poke. They want approval for that. Right? So you're telling me, do you believe that they're not going to require your children to get the poke to go to school ages 5 to 11 if it becomes approved? You better bet your life on it. And like I said, the younger you are, the more likely you are to suffer from the pericarditis. Those who are 6 times more likely to be hospitalized from the poke are in the younger age groups. The younger age groups. Now, it doesn't stop at age 17. That's just what they wanted to deal with actual minor children. Hell, there are young men all the way into their 40s that are suffering from pericarditis, myocarditis due to the shot. And women are getting blood clots. Do you understand the significance of this? Now, I want you to think about this. The rate of hospitalizations, okay? Now, imagine when you understand that, so the rate is between about 52 and 138 hospitalizations per 1 million people. Per 1 million children, 132 out of 1 million children. All right. That's a low rate. Yes, that is a considerably low rate, if you want to believe that. But that's for people getting poked. It's even less for people who have modelo 19. So per 1 million, it's even less than that. A very small percentage of children, period, are going to be hospitalized for modelo 19 if they get it. A very small percentage. I think it's like, since the pandemic started, over 700 children have been hospitalized. No, my bad. Over 700 children since the pandemic started have been in the ICU. I believe it's ICU. In the ICU, which means that actual, intensive care. Over 700 children. That's not significant at all, especially considering that most people who get modelo 19 won't even know they had it. Won't even know they had it. They won't even know that they had the modelo 19. Most people in the world probably have already had modelo 19. For all these variants to have occurred, the variants occur when your body poses a resistance to the actual virus, and the virus gets weakened when it's passed on to another person. So the more variants that occur, the less deadly they are. This is a very, very, very insignificant virus. If it even exists as they say it does. If you want to believe in germ theory, if you want to believe that people can pass on viruses to other people, whatever you want to believe. If you want to believe that, this is a very insignificant virus. Not really a danger at all, especially to young people. Yeah, it's a virus evolution. It's an evolution, but it's an infectious rate might be evolving, but its weaponry is devolving, meaning that even though it's more infectious, you're more likely to get it. You can probably get it faster. It's less deadly. It's less likely to cause symptoms. You know what I'm saying? And then, next thing you know, it's probably going to be less. Well, I already feel like, in terms of germ theory and virus things and all that shit, it's already less deadly than the flu, right? They want to say it's more deadly than the flu, but it's not, because look at this. The way they count modelo 19 deaths is completely different than the way they count flu deaths. And even flu deaths are estimates. Now, they want to say that they're not so much estimates with the modelo 19, but the way that they're counting modelo 19 deaths and hospitalizations, not even close to how no disease, they don't count any diseases the way they count modelo 19. Not even close. Okay, so if I end up in the hospital because I got shot in the arm, right? And I happen to have modelo 19, I'm hospitalized for modelo 19. That's how they count it. Like, you're not there for that. You know what I'm saying? But they're going to test you for it. And then you're going to have you tested positive for modelo 19, and boom, now all of a sudden you're a modelo 19 patient. And if you go into some type of distress, like you nicked an artery when you got shot, and maybe you're bleeding out and you're being resuscitated, modelo 19, it sent you into to cardiac arrest. That's how I'm telling you, this is how they are counting modelo 19 numbers. If they say you have modelo 19, and let's not forget, during the beginning of this pandemic, they had been giving people modelo 19 who had not even been tested. They had been diagnosing people over the phone with modelo 19. So they don't do that with any other disease. They don't do that with any other ailment. So to say that the modelo 19 is the fourth leading cause of death, like, it's all bullshit. It's bullshit. I hope we understand that. Dr. Ezike, she said, the head of health in Chicago, she said, even if you died of a clear alternate cause, if you have modelo 19 at the time of death, that's a Modelo 19 death. A clear alternate cause, like getting shot in the head and, dying. You have Modelo 19, well, that's a Modelo 19 death. Understand what they're doing here. Why Modelo 19? I have a theory, and I'm gonna go over my conspiracy theory right now. Yes, I'm conspiracy theorizing right now. I feel like they thought this shit was going to be a lot more deadly than it wound up being when they released it. Now, let's talk about germ theory. Germ theory is still a theory, right? And if you talk to many medical experts, and I suggest you do your own research, you listen to your own, you listen to your own scientists and your own doctors. I try to get a wealth of information from people from many different viewpoints and go with what makes sense to me the most, especially considering how consistent that expert is. If that expert is consistent across the board, then they're, to me, more credible. You know what I'm saying? If they've been involved in more studies, if they've had the experience. So these are the things that I pay attention to when I listen to experts. So I'll give you an example of an expert that isn't consistent. Anthony Fauci. Anthony Fraudstein is not consistent. 2 years ago, somebody was asking him about infectious diseases on PB, I believe it's PBS. On PBS. They're like, oh, should we wear a mask? Oh, no, you don't need that. Get exercise, eat right, get some sunlight, blah, blah, blah. This is what he's saying. Let's get rid of this paranoid bullshit. That's basically what he's saying. Stop being so fucking paranoid. You don't need a mask. Go exercise, get some sunlight, eat right, be healthy. To now, and then when the pandemic started, what did he say about asymptomatic people? Asymptomatic people are not generally prime movers of epidemics and pandemics. Meaning that if you're asymptomatic, you're not likely, if you have the virus and you're asymptomatic, you're not likely to pass it on to a bunch of people, as opposed to people who are highly symptomatic, who coughing and sneezing and all that other shit, which makes sense, right? If you're coughing and sneezing, you're shedding shit. You're getting rid of shit. Your body's getting rid of the contaminant of the foreign invader. That's why you're doing it. Hello. Makes sense, right? Anyway, let's think about germ theory. Now, what do we know about viruses? I'm not trying to school nobody. I'm not no doctor, nothing like that. So don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Are viruses alive? Are viruses independent? Fucking phone calls. Anyway, are viruses independent creatures like bacteria? It's like single cell bacteria that are even in your gut. Bacteria are independent organisms. They're alive, right? They're not sentient, right? They don't have consciousness and all that other shit. They're driven strictly by instinct. Viruses are not. Viruses aren't alive. They don't have mitochondria. They're not a plant, which plants don't have mitochondria. They're not plants. They're not fucking fungus. They're not any of that. They're not independent life forms. So if they're not independent life forms, then where do they come from? How are they created? If they're not independent life forms, but they're not man-made machines, then where do they come from? I want us to think about that. Viruses don't have brains. They don't have hearts. They don't have any of that. They don't eat shit. They don't consume, they don't eat in you know what I'm saying? What do? They go, supposedly, there's no evidence I've seen of this, I've looked far and wide. If anybody can tell me or post here in the chat, post a picture of a virus going into a cell. Can anybody do that for me? Can anybody provide me with some evidence of a virus, right, floating around in your bloodstream or whatever, and going into a cell? I haven't found one. Now, I've seen pictures of viruses going into a bacteria, right? A single-celled organ, a bacteria. I've seen viruses attack bacteria, right? Like the one that's in your gut. So you have viruses in your gut, in your mucous membrane, in your gut. Damn. That attack their bacteriophages. If they attack viruses that enter into the mucous membrane, that might get past the mucous membrane and into your bloodstream. So these viruses actually work for you. You understand? These viruses are actually created by your body and exist within you. They're endemic to you. They don't attack human cells, right? They attack bacteria. And they destroy the bacteria so that the bacteria does not enter into your bloodstream and cause problems to your body. These are what viruses in bacteriophages do. But you don't get them from outside. You don't pass these on. They're created by your body. They exist already inside your body. They are little machines that your body uses to attack unruly bacteria. Oh shit. Now the homie trying to flag me down. The fuck? The heck you hugging me for, punk? That ain't the homie. Anyway, I thought it was a homie. So I've seen pictures of viruses, and it'll say in the caption, this is an image of whatever type of virus you're talking about. AIDS, modelo 19, whatever. Leaving a cell. They're always leaving the cell. Always leaving the cell. But where are they at before that? Where's the picture, right? So you take an image, you take this image from a mass of cells from an infected human, and you put them in a petri dish, right? And you expect something to happen. And what ends up happening when you excite that cell? They have to do something to the cell to get the viruses to come out. What are they doing? Why aren't they having the virus? Well, because they haven't isolated the virus yet. Why don't they have the viruses, right? Okay, so the virus came out the cell, right? And what does the viruses want to do? They want to go into another cell, right? They've replicated so that they can go into more cells. Why aren't you putting uninfected cells in there, in that petri dish, with that infected cell in the viruses, so that when the viruses come out, they're attacking the uninfected cell and going into it? Why aren't there images of viruses going into cells? They're always coming out. I've searched far and wide, and I'm a pretty goddamn good researcher. I have not seen not one image of a virus going into a cell, replicating, and then coming out with many more cells, or many more viruses. I've not seen that. Why is that? Could it possibly be? Now, this is me just spitballing. I don't have, I'm not a medical expert. I'm just trying to figure something out here. I'm just trying to spitball. Could it be that something cause that cell to be damaged. And so perhaps there's things inside of your cell already that either create these viruses or are the viruses. The viruses already exist in your cells, but they're lying dormant until the point maybe they become cancerous. Maybe they become contaminated. Maybe they become poison cells. Maybe they're damaged to some point and they need to be turned into waste so they're removed from your body before it affects other cells. Perhaps the viruses already have, maybe your cells already have the virus in it. And then boom, when the cell gets corrupted, the virus comes and destroys the cell from the inside out. And that's why you see the virus is coming out of the cell. I don't know. That's just me guessing. I'm not too smart. I'm not very bright, but you know. Nikki Justice on the Run says the virus doesn't live or breathe or fly. Exactly. They always do show. Yeah, they always show leaving the cell. I've challenged so many people. I say, look, man, I want to see a virus going into a cell. Can I see that? Like I said, I've seen viruses go into. Yes. Stupid phone calls, man. Sorry about that. Now, viruses do protect you. They protect you from bacteria in your gut and they're also bacteria other places in your body that protect from, it's down the bacteria, kills the bacteria, and your body has to get rid of the waste. The virus in your mucous membrane, boom, the virus attacks the bacteria and then it gets rid of it as waste. And if it's in, let's say, the mucous membrane in your sinuses, viruses exist there as well that destroy viruses that may try to get into your brain or whatever the fuck, wherever the case. There's viruses all over in your body that you don't get from outside. Now, there are bacteriophages like in nature and like in water and things like that as well. They exist at, well, no, I'm tripping. No, they're not. No, there isn't. But when it comes to what they're doing with these pokies, you know, like with other hokey pokies for other, you know, viral infections, you know, they do actually have the virus. So what they're doing is they're taking the virus from something else, right, that it already existed in. Excuse me. They put that into your body. God knows what that virus is doing to your body after it's been in somebody else. Like, viruses are, you know, basically your body creates viruses that work for that body. So, but they want you to believe that there are also demonic, evil killer viruses that float around in the air, right? That are on doorknobs, you know, that you spit out or you breathe out through respiration and all that other stuff that ends up on doorknobs. But viruses don't last very long outside of the body. But they want you to believe that the modelo 19 virus, well, this especially in the beginning, right? And this is what I'm talking about with consistency, with the Anthony Fraudstein. They wanted you to believe that the virus could exist outside the human body on doorknobs and cardboard boxes and things like that, and on, you know, products at the store for like up to 5 days, right? They wanted you to believe that for months. So what were people doing? Running around, wiping everything down, spraying everything, going to the grocery store, wiping shit down, acting like fucking nut baskets. And then what happens a few months later? Oh, you know what? Don't worry about the surface shit. They're not really on the surface. Just worry about the social distancing and the breathing and the coughing and the shit like that. Is it this very inconsistent? Oh, you don't need a mask. I'm talking about Anthony Frosty, their favorite expert. You don't need a face flag. You know, let the Let the healthcare workers worry about that. And, all of a sudden, now you got to wear 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 masks. You know what I'm saying? Oh, if you get the poke, you won't need to wear a mask. You won't need a face flag. You'll be completely protected. You won't have to worry about it. What now? Oh, well, the pokey, not really that effective. You can still get modelo 19 and pass modelo 19. So now you still have to wear a face flag. Like it's this is what they want us to believe. And then you got Sanjay Gupta up here talking about, well, there's so many hokey pokey people across the world, and 90-something% of the people that are hospitalized with modelo 19 are non-GMO. So that speaks to the efficacy. No, it doesn't speak to the efficacy. It speaks to the bullshit that you guys are willing to put out there to make us believe that it's efficacious or effective. Nikki Justice on Run says, Derek, can you post a link if you can? I want to see that. See what? Oh. And doctors are offering $5,000 to anyone on earth who showing an isolated CV-19 virus. No one has taken him because they can't. They can't. They're trying to discredit him. They're trying to discredit that doctor, trying to make him look like a nut basket or some shit. If it's the same doctor you're talking about. The spike protein in the lab instructs the body to make more spike protein. Yeah, so, and that's the thing. That's why I call it GMO, right? People are trying to argue with me, it's not GMO, it's not genetically modifying you or whatever. Yes, it is. If you have something outside of your body, if you have something that's engineered and created by man that goes into your bloodstream, goes to your DNA, and gives instructions, you're creating mRNA, RNA, right? RNA that already exists in your body writes instructions to your DNA to create proteins, to do shit, right? To build certain things in your body. When you have something that's not part of your body, when you have outside mRNA going in, messenger RNA going into your bloodstream, writing instructions to your DNA to create shit, you're genetically modifying shit in your body. You're creating genetic modifications. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care if they say it's temporary, because they got other mRNA technology out there that they can use to create other shit that can give you blue eyes and all this other shit, make you taller. That's genetic modification. It's a more in-depth and more extensive form of genetic modification than maybe the messenger RNA for the hokey pokey for CV-19, but it's still genetic modification. Period. I don't care if it's creating a spike protein. I don't care if it's creating a freaking cello. I don't care if it's creating a piano. I don't care what it's creating. It's still a genetic modification. And we don't know what the long-term effects are going to be. People are going to have this in their body. We don't know how long it stays in your body. We don't know how long it writes instructions for in your body. We don't know which instructions it's going to write. We don't know what it's going to do. We just taking their word for it. And we're saying, go ahead, put this shit in my body. You're genetically modified. Your body is creating shit that is not designed to create. Spike proteins for your body to fight. But that's what they tell you that it's doing. But your body's still creating shit that it's not supposed to create. And that's the problem that I'm having with it. That's one of the problems. All right. Dr. Batar was banned. Yeah, he was. Yep. All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here. I got to get in here and I got to get my workout on for the day. And I'm holler at y'all later. Much love, like, share, subscribe. And, like I said, I'm going to, when this video renders, I'm going to put I know I've said that 100 times, but I am actually going to put this study in the description when this video renders, so you guys can check it out for yourself. Read the whole thing. I read the whole thing. It's pretty clear. Yeah, it is gene editing. Exactly. That's genetic modification. I heard that, Derek. Well, if people want it, hey, people, as long as people are informed and they're making informed consent, that's what they want to do. My problem is the mandates. That's my problem. My problem is them trying to push this shit on our children. That's my problem. Black Spring with Autumn was good. All right, guys, I'm getting off of here. I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Y'all stay up, stay safe, and let's keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace.